Hi everyone, I'm Amelia. A long time ago, watching a movie meant driving to a store, walking through endless shelves of VHS tapes, and hoping your favorite film wasn't already rented out. But then, a small startup arrived with a very strange idea. No stores, no late fees, just a red envelope arriving quietly in your mailbox. That company was Netflix, and over the next 2 decades, it wouldn't just change Hollywood, it would completely change the way the world consumes entertainment. But now, after years of dominance, Netflix is facing something it hasn't experienced in a very long time. Real competition, streaming wars, TikTok, YouTube, and a battle for human attention itself. So, how did Netflix rise from almost going bankrupt to becoming one of the most powerful entertainment empires on Earth? And more importantly, could the company that destroyed Blockbuster someday become the next Blockbuster? If you enjoy deep business stories and documentaries like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's begin the story of Netflix. Think back to the late 1990s. Renting a movie required getting in your car, driving to a strip mall, and hoping the specific tape you wanted hadn't already been checked out by someone else. Look closely at this black VHS tape. This piece of plastic is what the entire home entertainment industry was built on. Blockbuster owned this market, operating thousands of physical stores that functioned as a permanent fixture in nearly every neighborhood. Then a startup arrived. They had 0 storefronts, absolutely no retail shelving, and employed 0 salespeople. By eliminating a physical footprint, they removed the need to pay rent. You can attack a massive corporate giant much faster when you aren't constrained by thousands of commercial leases. This is Reed Hastings. After returning a movie past its due date, a store hit him with a $40 late fee. Curious, that penalty made him wonder why an incredibly profitable industry relied so heavily on angering the very people paying for the service. His solution started here in 1997. Instead of a polished headquarters, the early Netflix team worked out of a cramped room, sitting on folding chairs surrounded by tangled Ethernet cables. Customers selected titles on a basic website, and the company shipped the DVD directly to their mailbox in a red and white paper envelope. At the time, the established entertainment giants looked at the slow speed of dial-up internet and the delays of the postal service and concluded the idea was a guaranteed failure. The early years nearly proved those giants right. Netflix burned through cash paying for postage, and their initial marketing campaigns entirely failed to attract a reliable customer base. Look at the panic in this photo. The dot-com bubble burst. Investors fled as tech valuations crashed, and Netflix suddenly found itself running out of money to keep the lights on. Desperate, Hastings flew out to these imposing corporate skyscrapers in Dallas, Texas. He sat down with Blockbuster executives and offered to sell his entire company to them for $50 million. The executives laughed in his face. They flatly rejected the offer. This refusal meant Netflix would remain independent, leaving Blockbuster to continue investing billions into their physical retail model, just as consumer behavior began to migrate online. Facing collapse, Netflix aggressively changed tactics. They killed the industry's most hated mechanism and eliminated late fees entirely. This diagram outlines their new approach. Instead of the compounding penalties ticking up on the left, Netflix introduced the model on the right, a single flat monthly payment for unlimited rentals. While the red envelopes were the face of the business, every rental request was being logged. Every movie returned and every star rating submitted was building a granular database of exactly what people wanted to see. This data fed their algorithm, a mathematical system that analyzes your past ratings to predict exactly what you want to watch next. By feeding you highly accurate recommendations, they ensured you kept your subscription active month after month. By prioritizing these personalized suggestions, Netflix found they could significantly increase the time users spent on the platform, lowering the chances that a subscriber would ever cancel their monthly plan. Compare the battlefield. Blockbuster maintained 9,000 physical locations and 60,000 employees. Netflix ran a lean internet operation with a fraction of that headcount. Those thousands of commercial store leases, once Blockbuster's greatest asset, quickly became a massive financial anchor weighing them down. But look at this early 2000s laptop. In 2007, consumer hardware like this caught up, and Netflix launched instant streaming video. Now, data travels instantaneously. Zero physical discs, zero mail carriers, and zero friction between wanting to see a film and pressing play. Streaming effectively removed the final layer of physical friction, making the logistical overhead of thousands of retail stores a competitive liability. Within a few short years, the consumer base completely abandoned the ritual of driving to the retail store. The war officially ended in 2010. Blockbuster finally filed for bankruptcy, and store closing banners went up across the entire country. Fast forward to today, and the landscape is shifting again. With rising subscription prices, password crackdowns, and a flood of new competitors, user frustration is climbing. By constantly chasing endless revenue and massive scale, the company that destroyed Blockbuster must now fight to avoid sharing its fate. But early success bred overconfidence. In 2011, the company decided to split its services, separating physical DVDs from digital streaming, effectively hiking the price by 60%. Even as they recovered from the price hike, a structural flaw loomed over the streaming model. They relied on renting content from traditional Hollywood studios, which meant those studios held the leverage and could withdraw their catalogs at will. To neutralize that threat, CEO Reed Hastings architected a pivot. They needed to own their movies and shows outright. Their first original project was House of Cards, carrying a cost of $100 million. If the show failed to attract subscribers, the debt could have bankrupted the company. This required a massive operational shift. The tech distributor had to learn how to operate physical film sets, manage cinema cameras, and navigate union crews. Proving that a tech platform could produce television that rivaled Hollywood's output changed the way talent and studios viewed the company's role in the industry. Following House of Cards, production accelerated. Shows like Stranger Things, The Crown, and Squid Game pushed their annual content budget to $17 billion. This growth triggered a response across the entertainment industry. The legacy studios realized they were licensing their best assets to a platform that was actively competing for their audience. To survive, the old guard pulled their licenses back. Rivals launched their own proprietary platforms, fracturing the market as consumers suddenly had to navigate a sea of competing subscriptions. By proving the economic viability of streaming directly to consumers, the platform had inadvertently created the blueprint for its competitors. After years of expansion, the bar chart showing global subscriber growth dips below zero in 2022, signaling a contraction. To stop the losses, they implemented a crackdown on password sharing. The chart shows how the market reacted. New paid subscriptions surged. They paired this maneuver with the introduction of cheaper, ad-supported subscription tiers, capturing a segment of price-sensitive consumers they had previously ignored. These maneuvers stabilized the business, putting them on track to exceed 325 million paid subscribers by 2025. These changes stabilized the company, but they now operated in a market where every new subscriber had to be one away from a competitor with their own streaming service. Yet their competition is no longer limited to rival movie studios. As Reed Hastings noted, they are battling against anything else that occupies human time, specifically social media algorithms and video games. This scale visualizes the economic disparity. On one side, you have tens of billions of dollars spent producing cinematic series. On the other, user-generated platforms acquire thousands of hours of content every minute at near zero production cost. In the attention economy, platforms compete for a finite number of waking hours from each user. In a landscape dominated by algorithmic feeds, relying on high-cost premium cinema remains a financial vulnerability. To capture those missing hours of attention, they are expanding into live events, pushing into live sports broadcasting and real-time comedy specials. They are also investing in interactive video game development and rolling out physical, experiential retail spaces to engage fans away from their screens. These moves serve a specific purpose. The company is evolving from a streaming app into a global entertainment ecosystem that encompasses multiple forms of media. They successfully replaced the physical video rental industry, but technology operates in cycles. The question now is whether their innovation will keep them ahead, or if they will eventually struggle to adapt to the next shift in how people spend their time. As the history of Blockbuster shows, the primary challenge for a market leader is identifying the next wave of disruption before it renders their current model obsolete.